Wonder Woman's Boston roots show on the big screen, was searching for inspiration for her Wonder Woman movie. It was to be DC Comics' first major superhero film starring a woman, much less directed by one, and the first time Wonder Woman starred in her own big screen story. Most of the population knew the character from Linda Carter's high-camp 1970s TV show. Jenkins wanted the film, which opens nationwide on Friday, to be different, epic and beautiful, as lush as an oil painting, with a color palette for each of the film's 4 very different major acts. "It's very tricky," she recalled. "It's a fantasy land, turning period England, turning into a war story, turning into special effects villain. We could so easily not be able to pull those things together." As she prepared to film, however, one sequence when Wonder Woman has chosen to leave her home and journey into a brave new world of World War I London had her stumped. A former art student, Jenkins, writer-director of 2003's Monster, said she found what she was looking for in an unlikely place, the rich colors and textures in the works of John Singer Sargent. Get The Weekender in your inbox. The Globe's top picks for what to see and do each weekend, in Boston and beyond. "It was a revelation when we figured out he was the answer," Jenkins said of the Belle Epoque painter, who spent much of his life in Boston and whose major works, The Daughters of Edward Darley Boyd, El Giglio, are housed at the Museum of Fine Art and the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. "He's so pop. There's this beautiful graphic modernity to his approach." Sargent became Jenkins's artistic bridge between comic book art and live action, a visual reference for costumes and cinematography, and a touchstone for the middle ground magic realism of the film, not hyper-real or gritty, but not too stylized either. In a way, it makes a kind of cosmic sense that Jenkins would take inspiration from an artist so closely associated with Boston. After all, Wonder Woman herself is a Bostonian. The superhero may have been born on the magical island of Themyscira, or sculpted from clay there, depending on which continuity you're going with, but in the real world she was invented here, and for a glorious period in the 1980s she lived here, too. First, the origin story. In 1940, superheroes were in trouble. The nascent genre had sprung up just a few years before and was tremendously popular, and thus under attack as violent, sexually titillating garbage entertainment, a corrupter of young minds. The publisher Maxwell Charles Gaines, who ran what would eventually be known as DC Comics, reached out to a Tufts psychology professor as a character witness. William Knowlton Marston was a true Bostonian, as publicly cerebral as he was privately perverse. As a scientist and psychologist, he helped invent the knowing only the public persona. Gaines saw Marston as an expert and egghead who could give the business an air of respectability. And he offered to give Marston his own title to